Hello, this is Kinegos with a Speedrun Explained video for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker New Game Plus. This is for rank restricted, which allows the use of stealth camouflage and battle cries, both of which will restrict your rank to less than an S rank, hence rank restricted. This is also for true ending, so it'll be through to the end fight with Metal Gear Zeke. Speaking of Zeke, here's Zeke in a very, very bad state of disrepair. So what we do is we put Zeke in outer ops and have it fight until it's very low on health. It doesn't need to be quite this low, but I've tested up to 50% health in the final fight, and it still works roughly the same as what it would be here, which it'll be 33% when we get that far. I'll explain why in a bit. So you need all of the parts as low as you can get on health, and the one optional part equipped being the railgun. Also, you have your choice of either the Chrysalis head or the Zeke head, as both of those have the same defense rating. I choose Chrysalis because it puts the little mini pod weak point in a better position, and also it looks cooler. Also, if you do this step early and you don't want Zeke to heal as you're playing and setting up for the rest of it, you can put Zeke in an outer ops unit and just don't deploy the unit, and it will not heal until you take it out of the unit and then do some missions. Lowering its health like this doesn't actually affect its total health in the fight, but it does make parts break quicker, which makes them take more damage. The mini pod specifically takes double damage when it's broken. I don't know if there's different multipliers for other parts, but I believe that's the case. But either way, the fight, ideally without a critical hit, will take 5 shots. For staffing, there's kind of a huge, long explanation for something that's going to save barely any time at all in the run. But it's kind of, it's worth diving into because it does save time. It's a lot to explain. I'll try to remember all of it. I'll inevitably forget something. But basically, I've recruited the full 350 soldier cap that you're allowed, and I've raised everyone's morale to as high as it'll go. And then this is unimportant, but I put the junk soldiers in the trade waiting room just to keep them separate. Everyone else gets moved to sick bay. That's all. The other units are now empty, except I've put the unique soldiers in the mess hall, minus Miller and Amanda, who get put into combat. So they are in combat because they have passive skills that will slow the morale drop of the combat unit soldiers and delay the possibility of them losing stats due to the lower morale. And then the people in the mess hall are there because unique soldiers won't get sick, so that's also kind of delaying morale drop as much as possible. With only 28% food, that's not a whole lot, but it's something. Also, the 2 soldiers I'll be using in the run, Duck and Butterfly, they get put in combat. I should have only used one, but I'll get into that in a minute. All the other soldiers are in the sick bay because soldiers in the sick bay just don't get sick. I don't know. That's just how it works. Getting sick generates a mother base report, and mother base reports are important because the menu after you complete a mission defaults to return to mother base if you have a report, and it defaults to return to mission select if you don't. And at this point in the game, the mother base reports that we might encounter are volunteers, which we've gotten rid of by having 350 soldiers. You can get it for outer ops, but we're not doing that. And soldiers getting sick or leaving due to low morale. And we've kind of covered all of those, so we should not get any mother base reports, except that I screwed up and didn't realize that Butterfly could get sick while I was using Duck. So that's something that I'll remember for next time. That whole long explanation for why everyone is where they are is to save up to 1 button press per mission. But also, with no soldiers in R&D, Zeke only heals 1% per mission. So starting out at 1% part health now, by the time we get to that point in the run, it'll have 33% health. Now on to the loadouts I'll be using for the run. I've got both duck and butterfly here, a male and female soldier, because male, female, and snake all have different loadouts for the same outfit, so you can double up on the most important outfits. Both of these soldiers have really good stats. His is barely below an A rank for combat just because of CQC, which we don't actually use. But both of the soldiers have engineering and decoy as their skills. Decoy gives you kind of passive stamina gains as you are targeted by the enemy. So basically in alert phase, you will keep regaining stamina. And engineering gives you a chance to do, it's like an 8 to 10% chance, I think, to do triple damage versus all the bosses in the run. It also saves a little bit of time by letting you play C4 a little bit faster, but that's really not a big deal. If I could aim for a third skill, it would be Pro Wrestling Maniac, because it saves time like 2 to 3 seconds in one specific mission, but I have actually not seen it on a guerrilla soldier, guerrilla being the occupation underneath the name. The S rank guerrilla soldiers, I've gotten all of mine as random volunteers between missions, and the occupation somewhat determines what skills they can have. If you're going to aim for using your own soldiers, it's much easier to grind for a decoy Pro Wrestling Maniac, because you can get those from the recruit tab, the missions where you see all the soldiers on the beach, which will be a much more consistent time save than hoping that you get a critical hit with engineering. It's important to use as few outfits as possible, because switching outfits will give you this extra loading screen right here, checking hard drive, and it'll waste a few seconds every time you have to switch an outfit. For both soldiers, I'll be mainly using the Rathlos camo. I'll get to why when I get into co-ops comms or battle cry effects. I'll be using the 3-slot select for item and equipment management. It will mean that each of these first 3 items are 1 or 2 button presses away, and you don't actually have to menu, because menuing loses time. So in order, the first 3 items are the Well Done Rations, the Love Box, and the Mate. Well Done Rations recover both stamina and health at the same time. They're kind of a pain to make. You can make 1 at a time, but if you can play multiplayer, you can dupe a whole bunch at once with gift boxes. I'll probably make a video about that later. The Love Box is the most important item for a speedrun, because it gives you the fastest movement speed in the game. So, in the words of Solid Snake, the success of your mission hinges on how you use that cardboard box. Mate is just the best stamina item in the game, giving you the most stamina per use. And then for the non-slotted items, I have the bandana kind of as a safety item. I don't actually need it till Peace Walker, and I'll be using a different outfit for that fight. I have the ID card because it's required for a mission, and Future Curry because I will run out of Well Done Rations at one specific point. And Stealth Camo, it's actually only required, well, routed for 1 specific level. Beyond that, I don't actually need it. For weapons, I have the M47, which is the most powerful rocket launcher in the game. I have Carl Gustav Multipurpose, which can take out a lot of enemies at once, and C4, which is required. And then 4th, I have stun grenades, which kind of is a safety item. I don't think I actually use them in the run. The next loadout is going to be sneaking, which is 2 button presses away. The sneaking suit I use for infiltrate the missile base. head to the control tower and Peace Walker Battle 2. It's important to use either the sneaking suit or the battle dress for Peace Walker Battle 2 because both of those outfits have a faster board pull animation for that section, and you save a little over 20 seconds just by using these over other outfits. So I make sure the bandana is in the first slot, and then we have, similar to the other setup, Love Box and Well Done Rations. Then we have Future Curry, Stealth Camo, and Mate. And then for weapons, the M47, the MG3 AP, and Claymore Mines. I didn't actually use the Claymore Mines, but they are useful at the end of Control Tower. When the gate starts opening, you can place some before it opens and take out the first few guards that way. The MG3 AP is useful in 3 ways. In that same mission, the helmeted guards you can take out in 1 headshot as opposed to, 3 with normal guns. Also, kidnappers will go down in 1 shot from any armor-piercing gun. And also, if Peace Walker in Peace Walker Battle 2 does EM Pulse, machine gun will knock it out of that. And the final loadout for the Zadornov missions is going to be Butterfly's Rathlos Camo. The first 3 slots are Well Done Rations, the Love Box, and Stealth Camo. Again, Stealth is only used in 1 very small section, and beyond that it's not necessarily needed. Then we've got Future Curry, Mate, and the bandana. It's important that the bandana is within 1 button press of something in your slots, so either the first or the last, and that's because we need to switch to the bandana during the Zeke fight, which I try to remember to do right as the level loads in when Zeke jumps, because you can't really shoot it until it lands anyway. And for weapons, we have the M47, Carl Gustav Fulton Recovery, and chaff grenades. The M47 is both for fighting Zeke, and it will lock onto Zadornov through walls, so you can more easily find him in a few of the missions. The Carl Gustav Fulton Recovery is obviously to get Zadornov from afar in a few of the missions, and chaff grenades can be useful on Zeke, but they also make him unpredictable, so I didn't actually use them on this run. And now on to battle cries, or co-ops comms, whatever you want to call them. There's a way with a Rathlos camo to get 5 comms active at once instead of just 4, as long as one of them is this one. So while it doesn't show as active right now, my 5 comms that I'm using are the Rathlos Roar, Surrender, Here Goes, I'm Ready to Go, and I'm With Ya. These 2, I'm With Ya and I'm Ready to Go, are one-time use stamina recovery comms. Here Goes is a run speed comm. Surrender holds everyone up in an area, and the Rathlos Roar will stun enemies for a bit. It's important to note that the speed boost you get from Here Goes does not affect box boosting speed, so Here Goes is actually only useful when you're not in the box, which doesn't happen very often. I have a tutorial on how to get the 5 comms active at once, but shortened version of it is equip Rathlos camo, activate 4 of your comms, including this one, select a different camo, this one will become unactive, pick your other 4th one, switch back to Rathlos camo, and then quit back to Mother Base, and then go to Mission Select again, and all 5 will be active, even though it only shows 4 as active. Now, before you start a run, make sure that Zeke is not in an outer ops unit, and make sure that you have selected the starting character in the correct outfit that you're going to use, even though the first mission will make you play as Snake. Here's a little trick for backing your save up, as well as making multiple copies of your save so that you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time resetting up every time. If you transfer out, you don't actually need a PSP to transfer. You can use just a USB stick as long as it's formatted to FAT32. Some don't work, but most do. I'm not exactly sure why some don't work. But transfer out, quit back to the main menu, and then attempt to load the data that you just transferred out, and it will ask you if you would like to unlock the data. You select yes, and then you can use it as is while still having a copy of it on the USB stick. You can transfer in again and then back out and have another locked copy and then unlock it, and you can just do that a bunch of times to have multiple saves ready to go. For the Xbox version of the game, once you have your save all set up and ready to go, quit out completely and then reboot the game. The first time you ever get to a point where it would save, just cancel the save and continue to do that every time after, and you'll save about a second per level, so like a little over 30 seconds through the course of the run. And then also you won't mess up your save and it'll stay set up ready to run. If you're a real mad lad on Xbox, you can ask about the no profile setup, but running no profile New Game Plus is not feasible. Also, my save is available on speedrun.com, so if you would like to run this game without having to spend a few hundred hours grinding heroism, you can just download my save and be ready to go. For New Game Plus, timing starts upon selecting Start Mission on the first mission and ends on the final hit of Zeke, so ready, set, go.